Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas.
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira.
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it.
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. Got a very special show today. Special people all around. I'm going to start with everybody's, no need for introduction. Curtis, I can't do introduction like Laurie, man. I'm sorry. Laurie is a one-off. So Curtis, show in the house. Thanks for joining us, man. We had a good chat and the protest and everything, and looking forward to the show today. You can obviously Curtis Shaw TV, subscribe to him on YouTube and Twitter. Lee Judges.
How we doing? Lads?
No need for any introduction either. A regular, really. Good. We haven't had you for a while, Lee, have we? Because the games have been on Wednesdays.
No, because the last two Wednesdays we've had games, haven't we? So good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. And then, last but not least, one of our transfer gurus in the house, Eduardo. How are you, my son? You all right?
I'm doing great. How's everyone doing?
Pleasure to be here
again. Very good. First of all, just before we start off the show, obviously, as you all know, breaking news: Antonio Conte and Inter Milan have parted ways. Just before I will ask Edu to tell us more about this. I see everybody going this thing going around. Apparently, we should go and get him and so on. So, according to one of our other transfer guru, Fabrizio, there's no chance of him coming to Arsenal because Arteta's job is secure, and Antonio has left Inter Milan because the club was not showing ambition, and they needed to sell players to raise money. So that sounds very much like another Arsenal football club. Edu, tell us, man. Tell us the ins and outs. What's been happening?
Well, in the Conte context, he's left because Inter Milan want to sell 80 million worth of players. They want to make a profit this summer. And look, when you win a title and then they ask you to dismantle your team, I mean, you would take that the way out as well because they don't really have a future if they don't invest. Because in the Champions League, it's going to be a different ballgame. Juventus had an off season, but will that continue? I'm not sure. So the only thing that opens for Arsenal, in my opinion, it could be the option of Achraf Hakimi, which is someone that excites almost everybody in the right back spot.
Yeah, so they need to raise money basically, and there's a potential if Arsenal are happy to pay that we could have Achraf Hakimi.
Yes,
that's good.
His agent is an Arsenal fan.
Is he?
He is. He's a very fun Arsenal fan. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the right back spot. We're stuck with Max Aarons. So
just before we go further and discuss the rest of the things, as anything in a transfer market today we should know about in terms of Arsenal, Edu? Any players we're linked for? I saw a few things that apparently Liverpool are now leading the race for the Brighton Basuma. So anything that you can tell us there?
I've been told that Liverpool's interest in Basuma is great, so they will have a chance. They have Champions League football, but I'm also told Basuma is an Arsenal fan from childhood. He's best friends with Pepe and Gabriel, so we will see what he chooses. In the end, it's going to be his choice. So in terms of outgoings, though, there's rumors that Guendouzi is very advanced to go to Olympique Marseille. So that's going to be one to see. So we have to...
do you know how much?
I mean, there's no fee involved yet. It's something between the player and the club. Marseille will have to sit down to talk with Arsenal soon.
But they've agreed terms with him?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so moving on. That was the transfer bet. Obviously, Lev is not around today, so you're stuck with me, unfortunately. He had to finish off some bits and bobs at his workplace. Governor, I want to start with you. What was your thoughts on the protest?
Thoughts on the process?
Yeah.
I'd rather not say, you know what I mean? What
it wasn't great, was it?
Process. I don't know what about anything else. It certainly ain't gone to plan, if I'll be honest. You know, I'm a little bit miffed by, everybody's saying, Mikel Arteta, manager of the month, Pepe this and everything like. when it mattered 5 games ago, they didn't turn up. No one, manager, players. It's all right playing those 5 games and winning them when there's no pressure. And basically, it wasn't no pressure. It didn't matter if we won or lost them games. It weren't no pressure. So it's great to win them, of course, but I don't read too much into them, really. So it is interesting about the Pasuma thing, because when him and Pepe were talking, he sort of giving him a guided tour of the stadium, didn't he? After the game, yeah. So. And there's pictures on his Instagram with Arsenal stuff. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think that if Arsenal are going to do anything this season, they've got to make some real inroads into the transfer market. And I mean some big players. If they don't do it, we'll be here next season going, trust the process again, because that's how it's going to be. I'll tell you that now, if they don't make any signings. I reckon Conte will end up at Juventus. What do you reckon, guys? I think
yeah, possibly, or I don't know. I think he will definitely go to a club that has got Champions League football. So he will be.
Yeah, because Juventus ain't got Champions League football next season, have they?
Maybe Real Madrid as well.
Real Madrid,
yeah, maybe. I will come back to the owners and what they should do later on. But Curtis, how are you, man? You good?
I'm good, man. Season's over, so the stress is, relaxed now.
The stress is over. What was your thoughts on the process? I know we spoke at length when we were together there, but just for everybody who wonder, what was your thoughts? And
like Lee said, man, I think everyone's given up. That was the impression I got. I think everyone just thought he's rejected an offer from it. It's not happening. It was raining as well. I think they just thought, nah, I'm not going to bother. But if he doesn't sell the club, then you can't really moan too much. If you had the option of going and you didn't turn up, So it was disappointing. I was hoping with Josh Kroenke being in the stadium, if we could have made enough noise and made it a little bit hostile, we might have rang his dad and said, you know what, Dad, I don't really want to run this. But it was all nice and rosy. There was applauding him inside the ground. He would have rang his dad and said, nothing to worry about. No problems here,
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it was a missed opportunity to really crank up the pressure. There was just one thing that I took away from that day, and we spoke about it when I was there, and I said this to you. Everything was it was kind of. It seemed that everything is coming from the Arsenal Supporters Trust. There was banners being given to people with their logo underneath, and they seem to be pushing this around and having a billboard and that. I didn't particularly like that, because they had a lot of time, a lot of AGMs to stand up to Stan Kroenke and sitting. They haven't. Not even forget all of that. The last protest, there was no word of Arsenal Supporters Trust. Where were they? Nothing. And now all of a sudden they turned up because they saw a big protest. Oh, let's get behind it, have our names there, this and that. They certainly don't speak for me, but that was just one thing I took from the disappointing missed opportunity. And onwards we go. So basically, I thought today we'll do this show when we look back on a season and we review the season that went past. I think we all agree that it's been a very, very poor season. But what are the key points and the key moments that you think was very instrumental in the demise of Arsenal? And I'll start with you, the governor.
Well, first of all, I just want to say something about the process. 2:00 on when it was meant to be on 2:00. My God, the heavens opened out. It was like unbelievable rain, and it was just I got absolutely soaked within a couple of seconds. So I have to say that probably put a lot of people off. And not only that, it's all right for the ones staying outside the ground, they go home or whatever. There was a lot of fans that then were going to be absolutely soaked and then go into the game. So it was a difficult thing to do. I agree with you also that, people jumping on the bandwagon of it, and that's the trouble this moment in time. Until everybody comes together, this is what you're going to get. There's no one should be taking the lead on this. They should be all encouraging each other and making sure it's from that point of view. And as you're right, that's how I feel about it. And if certain parties got involved, then I'll probably pull out myself on a few of them. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't agree with it. So that's the problems you've got. So I don't really feel that people should be jumping onto one bandwagon. Key this season for me, I think it's just been one disaster after another. I don't know why it all went wrong before Christmas. I think, yes, it did get better after Christmas, but don't read too much into that. You know, the season's 38 games, not 28, or, you know, because if we go on that rules, then Tottenham won the league because they was cheering after 8 games and they was top of the league. You know, so, and we took the mickey out of them for that. And then after, you know, then we get our fans going, oh, well, after Christmas, we would have been in the top 4. Well, you know, I'm not buying into that as well. Like, different things happen. Like, teams fade in the back half of the season. You know, teams like Southampton that start off really well, that squads take its toll. Look at West Ham. You know, I think they had a fantastic season, West Ham, but they got over the line in the Europa League in the end because basically the squad was jaded. It was tired. You know, so you can pick up a few results from that. So I'm just going to say it's just been a disastrous season all round. How Mikel Arteta's kept his job, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really see the justification for it. I don't think let's be honest, if Manchester United come in 8th position, would Solskjaer be in the job? No. I don't think so. I don't think any manager of a top team will be, you know. And that's where we are at the moment. And
Lee, can I just tap into that wisdom of yours a little bit, right? What do you think? Why is he keeping his job? Because I don't know. I'm sure Curtis don't know because we had the conversation. I'll guarantee you Edu doesn't know either. And I'll guarantee you probably 80% of the fan base, they don't know why this guy still got this job. Do you know? What can you think of anything?
As I say, I think he's I've said it before, I think he's a very, very lucky, fortunate person in life and in football as well. I think that the one thing that's probably keeping him is that when they spoke to him, he talked about a long-term plan and probably said to him that it may not go well in the first year. I don't know, you know. They've backed him to a certain degree in the transfer window, you know, 45 million on Partey, 27 million pound on Gabriel. I think we really looked to strengthen 2 areas that we needed strengthening, and we're still weak all round. We did improve a little bit with the defence, so, you know, that you could look at that and say that was a positive. But I find it very, very difficult to sort of sit there and say, you know, if I was in a meeting, like, you know, with him and to say, like, you know, why should I believe in what you're going to be doing? Because even if you look at some of the players, you know, they're coaching them to their best. Look at the mismanagement of Pepe, for instance. You know, this is a manager that trusted in William for so long. You know, now look at Pepe. I know that it's the second half of the season, but ultimately, you know, he didn't back one of your biggest asset, really. So I really don't know. I think that he's very, very fortunate. I think that maybe that he's fortunate that the board are clueless about football, because if they were up on this thing, I think that they would have reacted to this. You can talk about money and things like that, but ultimately, I don't think it comes down to money. I think there is a little thing with Arsenal. They don't like to sack managers. So,
at what price?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. You know, listen, this could be. I know this sounds silly, and you know, this could be a masterstroke by Arsenal. And next season he gets it all right and everything, and we go, wow, what a great job and everything like that. And then, and then, you know, or it's going to be a disaster. We know by the end of September. Simple as that.
Can you see that, Lee? Possibly him having a blinder next season.
No, no, I honestly can't. I've seen enough. I've seen enough this season to say no. What I do see is a manager that can get results against big teams in one-off situations, like beating Manchester United away, beating Chelsea away, winning the FA Cup, things like that. But I do worry about his man management skills over a course of the season to get the best out of players, getting results week in, week out. You know, we've got 5 wins on the trot for the first time in in his managerial career, which is fantastic. But on the back of going out against Villarreal, I can't even bring myself to watch that game tonight, because I just feel that it's a missed opportunity. So for me, I think the Villarreal game highlighted so many weaknesses in him, from tactical awareness to just being totally inexperienced. And for me, on that part, that is worrying, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the game tonight, there's only one place that you can watch the game. It's not on BT Sport. It's not on Sky. It's only on Curtis Shaw TV from 7:30. You can't watch it, but it's a watch along with Curtis.
It's going to be painful. Painful.
Yeah. So you can go watch it. Curtis, following up from what Lee said, I've always been told, right, that a football manager's job is it depends on the results, right? So football manager, you need to get result regardless of who you are. We saw that with Arsene Wenger. If it was based on reputation, which Arteta doesn't have anyway, Wenger should still be in job. But he hasn't got any results. If anything, this is the worst season as far as I can remember from an Arsenal point of view. I can this be justified? Do you have any common sense that you can bring down on the table in terms of why is this guy keeping his job, or what is it that is making the board think, this is the right guy, so we're not going to go for Antonio Conte, we're going to stick with Mikel Arteta?
I think, first of all, like Lee said, I don't think the club like to sack managers on a frequent basis. What I would say, I read something that the club are still paying Unai Emery off right now. They're still actually paying off. It cost over 10 million to sack him. If they're paying off Emery, you then got to pay to sack Arteta. You've then got to pay to go and get Antonio Conte or whoever. That's 3 managers being paid at the same time. We know what this club are like. They don't like to spend money. They're taking a loan to pay off another loan. They're not that type of club. If we had different owners, Arteta would have lost his job probably in November. Never mind now. When we went out to Villarreal, I thought, there's no way he can keep his job, but he's failed. To me, at this moment, I look at Arteta as a cup manager. Arsenal are good every few weeks. We turn up every few weeks. We win a big game. We've got no consistency. You got to remember, we only qualified for Europe last year because we won the FA Cup. We finished outside the European places 2 years in a row in the league. He hasn't produced anything in the league to suggest he's going to be a top manager. I think it's actually riskier to keep him, give him the money, buy players. The fans are going to come back. If he's struggling, they're then going to say, do you know what? We're going to have to sack him now by Christmas. Then you bring in a new manager mid-season. You can't spend a lot of money in January. And then the manager might not even want to work with them players. If Antonio Conte is available right now, they should at least be having a conversation with him. They should at least be ringing him and saying, you know what, would you be interested, and how much would it cost? Because, look, we all laugh at Tottenham, and, we know what that situation is. But they've just got rid of Poch, brought in Mourinho. Mourinho's failed. He's gone. They're now being linked with Conte. But Arsenal fans are telling me, we can't get Conte. We're not big enough. But if you pay the money, you give him a good enough project, he would at least listen to what you had to say. I just think there's a huge lack of ambition in these owners, and they don't want to win. Let's face it. It costs money to win in the Premier League, and they're not going to pay the price that it takes to win, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that one, man. I was going to ask this of Lee when I was going to come back to him, but I'm going to ask from Edu. First of all, you heard what the guys said about the season and Arteta, and I'm sure you hear things from people you're in touch with. If you were Antonio Conte, would you want to come to Arsenal Football Club? What's there for him to come? If Josh calls him and says, "Listen, Antonio, we really want you. Forget about the whole money thing. We're happy to pay 3 managers, as Curtis said, but not a problem. We'll give you £50 million, sell some players." Would you want to come to Arsenal?
Well, I'm not sure in this situation. I mean, I wouldn't personally jump into a ship that looks like it's a sinking one. I would need to be promised the stars for me to come Well, I can't say that because I'm an Arsenal fan, but Antonio Conte isn't. So he's just a manager that's looking for success. So we are in a situation where we need to rebuild. So having a manager like Conte will take a lot of money, minimum 200 million to at least get competing next season. And look, if the owners were proactive, they would do something like this. But they are reactive. They just, whatever happens, it doesn't matter until the situation becomes untenable, and then they decide to do something. It happened with Emery, it happened with Wenger, and now Arteta hasn't reached that peaking point, which I thought was Villarreal, but seems they're waiting to see if it gets worse, and then they're gonna pull the trigger. But in this situation, we are doomed, in my opinion. We have to wait. We have to reach another bottom to try to win again. And then what guarantees you that we're going to win again after we reach the other bottom? So maybe next time we won't have an opportunity to Conte, and we won't have an opportunity to a better manager. So it's hard being an Arsenal fan today.
Yeah, it is. And what's your thoughts on Arteta and the season that has gone past and with everything that has happened?
For me, it's a total embarrassment. Like, I see some fans actually considering, give the context. He didn't have the players failed him. No, he's had his fair share of problems and mistakes by himself. And look, when he goes out on the press conference and he tells you, it was my fault, I'm taking the bullets for my players. Man, you can do that once every 10 games, but he was doing that every game. So you have to be held accountable in some type of way. So I think this is I wouldn't even say 3 out of 10. This is a 1 out of 10 in my opinion. I mean, I want my club to win, and I haven't seen anything. For me, the biggest progress I've seen is that the defense doesn't look as shambolic as it used to be. But going forward, we still lack so many things. We create a shot per game sometimes, which is unforgivable. You want to win shooting one time. For me, he's lost the plot so many times, and as Lee says, he's very lucky because he keeps on getting the chances, another chance after another chance, and then he gets this lucky away win at a big side, and then everybody's back on the wagon. Oh yeah, he's the one, and then next time we lose to Fulham, so people start questioning again. So he's lucky, man. And I'm Arteta out at the moment. I mean, I think at this moment in time, you can't be Arteta in, because if not, you're accepting mediocrity. But I do hope he turns it around somehow, because I want my team to succeed. I don't want to reach another bottom. I want to get back to competing. So if he takes us there, I don't mind. I don't have anything against him. I have something against his managerial skills.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. My thoughts on Arteta and the season that gone past is that unfortunately, Mikel hasn't shown that he's learned from his mistakes. Exactly. There's been some times that wrong substitutions, wrong lineup, and it seems to be there is this stubbornness in him that he wants to prove everybody wrong, that I know what I'm doing and this is the right way, and he keeps making mistakes. You got to question his his coaching staff, because they are all part of the decisions that are being made. If you go in the Champions League semi-final with Villarreal away, right? If you've got this idea out of a sudden that you're going to try something you haven't done, there is I can't believe there's nobody in that coaching setup that would tell him, right, Mikel, maybe this not would be the best game to do this, man. There's a lot riding on this. We need to get results, and so on, so on. So I don't really see an experienced head around him that would guide him or help him or give him advice. Steve around, I don't think is that person. And the biggest thing for me, as I said, he makes the same mistakes over again. And another reason I don't think they'll sack Mikel Arteta is if they do, the spotlight will firmly be on Edu and Vinay, because these are the guys who put him in there, and Kroenke's possibly. Right, so then it's kind of linked together. Where maybe Edu and Vinay look at this and they were thinking, if we get rid of him, right, we got to answer the question. Well, why did you recruit him in the first place? What did you see that you recruited someone with zero experience? So I think that might be linked together as well. Moving forward, Lee, Do you look? Just before I ask you this, Edu, I hear that today apparently this Daniel Ek is coming out with a new bid about, I think, 2 billion. Have you heard anything about that? Do you know anything about that?
Haven't had it confirmed, but Vieira said he's putting another bid in. So if you want to take his word for accountable, I think he will.
Yeah. So if let's, for argument's sake, it's a difficult one, Lee, because I don't know if this guy is going to come through the door. I don't know what he's bringing onto the table, right? If he's putting finances together, so in layman terms, if he's borrowing money in order to buy Arsenal Football Club, because he doesn't have 2 billion, he needs to obviously raise this fund. Is that what we really need right now? What I don't know. What's your thoughts on him coming in? Because I haven't seen any plan, what is he going to do? What is the transfer going to? What is the transfer budget is going to be like? These invincibles, they coming on in what capacity? You know,
the only positive I see from it is that he's a person that's an owner that cares. Now that's all that I see. You know what I mean? I don't think that there'd be the same sort of. I don't think he'd be spending the same sort of money, or maybe even less than the Cronkies. I believe, you don't know. But if you've got 2 billion and you can raise 2 billion, well, you can raise 200,000 for transfers. That's how I look at it, And if you was to come in, you've got to say, well, if I'm buying it for 2 billion, I've got to find another 200 million somewhere along the line for investment of players, which I think would probably happen. But that doesn't mean to say that he's going to be a great owner just because he supports Arsenal. But what I would say to that, to counteract that, is that if Arsenal lost and he feels like I do this season and the last few seasons, then he's certainly be looking to do things differently and making sure it don't happen again. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm fed up with this at the moment now. I'm really this season's been a complete and utter washout, and I'm not really looking forward to next season. Buzzing for next season in any shape or form, unless they sign some players. But we've been here so many times now that even that don't excite me. Do you know when you go on about transfers and all that? I'm not interested in it because it's all propaganda. It's all whatever until I see those transfers through the door. Then because you know what, I've been let down by him so many times. You know what I mean? You think you're going to sign this player. Look at last season with Aouar. All summer we went after him, and in the end we didn't get it. Get it over the line. I don't care what anybody says. That cost us because we went into the first half of the season without any creativity in our midfield.
Yes.
So basically, the top four wasn't just lost by Mikel Arteta. It was lost by the whole lot. The whole lot. The transfers weren't done properly, leaving him short, and then obviously he's left himself short anyway. Now, if you've got an experienced manager and you believe in that inexperienced manager, then give him the tools to do the job properly. It's bad enough giving these tools to an experienced manager who knows what he's doing. But what they've done is they've actually said to Mikel, it's all right, we'll wait till January and you can then go and get somebody like Odegaard and whatever. And all of a sudden, look, they get a couple of creative players in Odegaard and Smith Rowe who have done okay. They're not been sensational. Let's get this straight. They've been okay. They've done okay. And Arsenal have improved tenfold. So imagine if they would have, got the right people in at the right time, so... And as you say, you can turn around and say, yeah, Mikel Arteta ain't learned by his mistakes. Well, the recruitment team have got to learn by their mistakes as well, make sure they get the deals over the line. And if it was on a financial basis last season, well, can someone tell me why they turned down 20 million for Maitland-Niles, who's now on loan for nothing at West Brom?
Yeah, and will probably be sold for less than that, Lee, because he hasn't had a really great season.
Nope.
So again, broke up there. Sorry.
Yeah, I said, and he'll probably be sold for less than that figure because he hasn't had a great season.
Now, you would have got 20 million off of it off the back of a very, very good few games in the FA Cup last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't going to get that 20 million now after a couple of mediocre games for relegated West Brom, are you?
No, you're right. And again, it goes back to the board and the owners that, these decisions are baffling everybody. It doesn't make sense. Curtis, going forward, right? I think from my point of view, more important right now is outgoings, because Cronkies are the owners as we speak, right? And we know they're not going to cough up 100, 200 million pounds, right? So we're looking at outgoings to raise funds, and then maybe they'll top it up a little bit here and then to move forward. Who do you see as the player who's got some asset in him that we can raise some money for him? I know we've got the likes of Bellerin and so and so, and more importantly, do you trust them getting the right figure? Because I hate to say this, but in a situation like this, I would love somebody like Daniel Levy at our club, because he's going to get the maximum for these players. But over the years, we've shown that we're not really shrewd when it comes to business, and we're not going to get the maximum for these guys.
I think the problem is everyone knows Arsenal want to sell players. When somebody wants to sell something, you don't have to pay what it's worth. So, if Bellerin's worth 25 million, a club's going to rock up and offer you 15 million for him. So I think we've just got to move people on, because we've made mistakes hanging on to a lot of these players for too long. And now we're in a situation where we've got no Europe. We need to trim the squad down from probably 25 to maybe 20, 18, something like that. I think Bellerin could get decent money. I would I think Torreira will go. I don't think he really wants to be in the Prem. I would let Lacazette go. I do like Lacazette as a player, but I think we paid 50 million for him. We needed him to be an upgrade on Giroud, and his numbers are no better than Giroud. So I would let Lacazette go. It may seem... Guendouzi, I like Guendouzi, but I think his attitude, Arteta's not going to put up with him. So I think Guendouzi will go. Like Edu was saying, he's speaking to Marseille. Yeah. I would actually let Joe Willock go. It might be a little bit controversial because he's done really well at Newcastle, but I look at Joe Willock and I just think Arteta will not play him. I don't think he will fit in our system, the formation we play. He likes to play with a number 10. Joe Willock is not a 10. He's more of an 8. And then I can't see Willock playing next to Thomas Partey. I don't think he's got the discipline to play in that role. I would use the hype around him to cash in on him. If you get... Look, every player that comes through the academy is not supposed to end up in the first team. If you sell a player for £25 million, your academy's doing a good job there. So I'd let Joe Willock go. I think Ainsley will probably go as well. I'd let Eddie and Ketia, for me, I would get rid of. He's got a year left on his deal. I wouldn't give him a new contract. There's way more. You could sell 10 players, to be honest. El Neni.
There's another name.
If somebody comes in with a semi-decent money for Aubameyang, would you take it? No, I wouldn't.
I tell you why I wouldn't, because first of all, I don't think anybody would. I know you're saying in hindsight if they would. Yeah. He's 32 this summer. He's on 300 grand and he's out of form. Who would go near that situation and give you good money as well? But
Arsenal Football Club would.
Well, we've given it him, but no one else is going to come and give us that. But then the problem is, look, we've got to look at the situation with Aubameyang and say, we've committed to him now. We've given him the 3-year contract. We've given him the big wage. Rather than keep saying, oh, he's rubbish, he's declining, get rid of it. Sometimes you got to actually look at it and say, are you creating the best environment to get the most out of it? When I watch Leicester, that team is built around Vardy. Vardy gets the service. They get the ball to him quick. They get people around him. He plays the whip for the 18-yard box. When I watch Aubameyang, I'm like, you want him to run. You want him to dribble. Sometimes you're playing him wide. You're putting crosses in the air when he's not good in the air. So while I think Aubameyang does deserve criticism, I think he's been poor this season. I don't think we're trying to create a team that gets the best out of him. So, and how much would he be to replace? You look at the market right now, you look at strikers. That Edouard looks like he's going to Leicester. You've got Ivan Toney, 40 million in the Championship. It's a very bad market to go and buy a striker right now. So I think Arteta's got to find a way to get more out of Aubameyang rather than selling him.
Do you think it's it's Aubameyang having a poor season, or it's a system that Mikel Arteta has played that has made Aubameyang have a poor season?
I think a combination of both. I think I've seen games where he just looks like he's kind of feeling sorry for himself, and but at the same time, the start of the season he was playing left wing, putting crosses in for Willian at the back post, and I'm like, this guy's just been top goal scorer for the last 2 years. You've got him putting crosses in. He's playing Eddie and Nketiah through the middle at one stage. So I get the impression there's a little bit of, not a falling out, but I feel like Aubameyang doesn't really believe in Arteta as much as he did at the start of the season.
I
when
get the impression as well,
Yeah.
So, that is a very fair assessment. We've got about 20-25 minutes left of the show, and I'd like to obviously use this to look forward in terms of future, because it's all been doom and gloom up to now. Nobody is happy. Manager is rubbish. Players are rubbish. So and so. But guys, thank you very much for watching us. Please hit the like, subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to Curtis Shaw TV. He's doing a watch along later for the Man United game. Subscribe to Edu. Not that he needs any introduction, and obviously Lee Judges. Edu, you heard what the guy said. We're talking about the outgoings of the players. I know you told us that Matthew Guendouzi has agreed terms with Olympique Marseille, and he's probably been moving on. We don't know the fees yet, but who else would you see, or as a fan, or as somebody who knows a lot of people who's got the inside infos, would you see going out for what figure, and so and so?
In terms of Joe Willock, I am in the same boat as Curtis. And look, for me, it's going to be a tough task for this team to get as much as we can, because I've seen reports saying that they will accept 25 million. And when you consider that Ryan Brewster moved to Sheffield for 25 million and Willock has just scored 7 and 7 for Newcastle, you have to at least demand 30, in my opinion, at least, and try to get 35 if possible. Even 40. You have to sell as much as you can. Homegrown player. We didn't expect this to happen. If I'm being honest, I didn't expect Willock to be this good for Newcastle. So this type of situations you have to take advantage of. If you want to sign somebody else with a different profile of player, look, you sell Willock, you can sign Awad for the same price. So those are things that you have to do as a director. And I don't see this directive team doing anything. So another name that many people forget is Reece Nelson. What do we do with him? He never plays. Do you send him on loan and hope he does well and get more money, or do you just send him for 15 million now and get it over with? So in Nketiah as well, there's rumors that Brighton are interested in him, and it could go in a deal with Bizuma. So that would be interesting to see. El Neni, does he stay? Does he go? Does his charisma outbalance his quality? So that's something the team has to improve on. For me, you have two center midfielders that are good enough for the team, in my opinion, in Saka and Partey, and then Ceballos, Torreira, and anybody else, they're not good enough. And look, next year we don't have Europe, so you're gonna have to sell this deadwood and try to get at least, I would say, two top midfielders that will compete with Partey and Saka, so we can have some type of competitiveness in the team. Because when Saka or Partey are not there, we struggle a lot. Like, you get into the game, you see El Neni or Ceballos in the team, and you say, oh, we can lose today. Definitely. And it shouldn't be that way. In terms of wingers as well, Willian you have to get rid of, like, as soon as possible. You have to see what you do with Bellerin, of course. Cedric, out of nowhere, he got dropped. I thought he was doing a brilliant job at some point. And then out of nowhere, he never played again. So Chambers as well, do you want him to be your starting right back? I don't think so. I don't think he should be the starting right back. For me, he's a squad player. He can cover for right back and he can cover for center back. And look, with Saliba coming back, also you have another situation to discuss, because I'm seeing reports of they wanting to sign a young center back for over 50 million again. So where are the priorities in this team? You need a game changer. I am confident we need a game changer. For me, look, if we sign Bizuma as your marquee signing or Buendia as your marquee signing, that's not good enough. We need so much more. We need so much more. For me, a Buendia, a Bizuma, they're complementary to your marquee signing. And that would be a good window. Look, if you bring Grealish and then Buendia and Bizuma, then you've done the job. But if you're not bringing a game changer, which we desperately need, because before we had Alexis, we had Ozil, we had RVP, we had Fabregas. Who do we have now? Whose team is this? That's the question. Do we have a leader? Do we have a player that we say, oh, this guy's going to bail us out when we need him? We don't. And that's what we need. And every team from the top 6 has one. Spurs have Kane. City have De Bruyne. Liverpool have Salah. Chelsea have many players now that can bail them out. They have Mount. They have their new signings, and they have a good structure, good manager. So if you don't have a game changer in a situation that we're in, we are going to struggle forever. And I don't see us making top 6 again next season because these teams are getting better and better. Leicester are signing Sumare from Lille for 20 million, man. Why can't Arsenal do a deal like that? They're not proactive enough. They're going to wait until the last day of the window to see who we can sign. And maybe it's not going to be your top target. And that's what I'm afraid of. Look, if Grealish is your top target, are you willing to wait until the last day of the window for him to say no, and then you missed out on everyone, and we go into next season with no one? So I am very scared going into this window, but if they do the things correctly, it's not that hard. If we sell correctly, if we recruit correctly, we can get back to competing next year. But I don't have any confidence in that.
You know what, Edu, I'm not going to lie to you, man. Grealish, Buendia, and Basuma sounds wonderful, but it's not something that I can see Arsenal doing. It sounds fabulous. It sounds just a ticket, just what the doctor ordered.
That's how we are accustomed to that. We are accustomed to being mediocre. So when you see three good players in one window, you say, no, it's impossible. But it shouldn't be that way. We need to get back to competing. This is our worst season in 25 years. So there's something that has to give at some point. This has to be an exceptional window. We can't be accepting 2 good players to stay in top 8. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't.
I agree with you. And it leads me nicely to the next segment of the show that I'd like to talk about. Way forward. What is the way forward? Just before we do that, Lee, I want to ask you something. I had this debate with Lev, and I think we spoke about this with Curtis as well when we saw each other. As a player, would you take prime Mikel Arteta or prime Granit Xhaka? You guys in the chat, please,
It's a tough one. Listen, I don't think. Do you know what? Mikel done all right for us if I look back on it, and so did Granit Xhaka. If I'll be honest, I don't think none of them were exceptional. Yeah, were exceptional. I'd probably say, it's a tough one. Out of any, I'd probably take Xhaka if I'll be honest. Out of it all, I think that we got Arteta towards the back end of his career, where I think Xhaka's done okay, but this is the problem with it at Arsenal at the moment. Xhaka is our best midfield player at the moment. That's not a compliment to Granit Xhaka. That is how far our midfield's dropped. As Edu said there, we used to have Fabregas, Nasri, Jack Wilshere in the same team, Santi Cazorla as well, Rosicky, sort of players like that. I won't mention that one, but that were game changers, were match winners, that done things for us. I look at that midfield now, and I'm sorry, guys, but if you're just going to say Basuma's going to be the only midfield player, then we are in trouble, because I look at it and I think to myself, you're losing Ceballos, you're losing Guendouzi, you're losing Willock, you're losing. I think you've got to lose
Torreira
as well. Torreira's gone as well. We need three midfield players. Now, if we was in Europe, we'd probably need 4. But if we're just going to be in the domestic seasons next season, we probably need 3 midfield players to go in there. And also don't forget Odegaard's gone as well. So that's another one. So we've got to replace 3 or 4 players. So you can allow 5 or 6 of them to go and just replace them 3 because of the situation we're in. But they've got to be 3 good players. Now, for me, it's a while Benzema and Jack Grealish or the guy from Norwich. One of that would be there. Now, if you got all of three of them or four of them, then you're going to turn around and say, "Wow, that's a great market." Now, that's going to cost a lot of money, yeah. But if you look at it and sell Willock for 30, 40 million, you say you sell Maitland-Niles for 20 million, you sell Bellerin for 20 odd million, then you sell Nelson for 10 million or whatever, Eddie as well. All of a sudden, there's 60, 70, 80 million. It ain't as bad as what it looks. So, we're going to have to sell these players to bring these players in. And just going back to Joe Willock, it's no good selling, if we was to say sell Joe Willock for 40 million, say if we sensationally got 40 million for him, right? How I look at that is that Jack Grealish costs us 40 million then, if he's 80 million, because we haven't spent nothing on Joe Willock. So, that's how I would look at it. So it's, it's a no-brainer then, isn't it? You can go and get him, and all of a sudden then you're not going to worry about what Joe Willock's doing at Newcastle, because you've got the real deal at your club. And I think that's something that we've got to do. Now, if you sell Willock and then you don't replace him, then there's an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's just say like, oh well, we're selling Willock and we're keeping I don't know, El Neni and Saka and Partey as our midfield for next season. Then we're in trouble. So that is what you've got to do, like to do. And listen, people say that Jack Grealish is not worth 40 million. Okay, if he's then Zaha at Crystal Palace is another option that you can go down. That's probably was worth 2 seasons ago 80 million. We was quoted. He must be half of that now. So there are other options to look in. We've got to be proactive. The other thing is and I do look at this. We give away our goalkeeper to Aston Villa. Why? Maybe there was, an agreement or something that we would be able to take Jack Grealish. I don't know, because I don't understand why we sold our goalkeeper so cheap to them.
Yeah, that's very true. Lee, you know what? Just talking about Bissouma coming to Arsenal from Brighton and everything, considering we don't have European games, I think if Bissouma comes to Arsenal, obviously he's going to be a starter with Thomas Partey. I don't really see Granit Xhaka being happy to sit out on the bench, so he'll probably be sold.
Well,
and then
I'm not bothered if he goes.
But then that'll be another replacement as well.
But you can replace.
There's only 3 or 4 players that I care about going. As far as I'm concerned, Leno up for sale. If you get a good price for him, sell him. Bellerin, sell. Holding, sell. Gabriel, keep. Tierney, keep. Xhaka, sell. All of them, Partey, we'll have to keep him, But then I go up to all of them up front, as far as I'm concerned, apart from Martinelli and Saka and Smith Rowe. I know.
Even Pepe?
Oh, Pepe. Well, I don't like. To be honest, no one's going to come in and buy Pepe for 70 odd million. So you've got to keep that. But I'll tell you this now: if someone come in for 30 million for aubameyang, I'll say, go on then, fair enough. I'll have it. Because do you know what? All these players, the majority of these players have been here 3 or 4 years. They're not good enough. And why are they not good enough? Because we've come 8th in the last 2 seasons. That ain't just down to the manager. That is just not down to Mikel Arteta. This is the season under Emery. They didn't perform. So for me, be ruthless and tear it all up, get as much money as we can, and start again and bring in players that are hungry. Now, like the Bissoumas and Jack Grealish, if you look at them two, probably Jack Grealish may be a little bit too much out of it. I don't know. But ultimately, he's going to go somewhere at some stage. And why not Arsenal? But the fact is, he's 24, 25 years of age. And you say to him, right, we're going to, if you would say to Jack Grealish, or, when people turn around and say, well, why would they want to come to Arsenal? If you turn around to Jack Grealish and said, you know what, like, we're buying him, we're buying this right back, we've got this central defender, we've got this centre midfield player, and then you come along here, oh, hold on a minute, if I get all those players in here, we're going to be really going for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to show the ambition, because the club sells itself. The club will sell. You know what I mean? Arsenal's a big thing, but what you've got to do is show it that you as a club are wanting to get to the very, very top. And how you do that is by saying, well, we're going to sign him. I honestly think that Arsenal's first big statement should be the big one to say, just say if it is Jack Grealish. I'm not saying it is, but if you take Grealish in tomorrow, all of a sudden people will turn around and go, do you know what? Arsenal are meaning business. Forget where they are at this moment in time. You're setting this stall out for what it's going to be. Right?
100% agree with you. 1000% I agree with you. Curtis, it's hard to disagree with the governor. I wish somebody give you the key so you could go there, open the office, walk in and say this to somebody and just shake them up, man. Get things going. But Curtis, man, what's your thoughts moving forward?
Do you know what? I agree with Lee, and I love his passion as well. I just think Jack Grealish with this manager and this board, I think there's absolutely no chance of it happening. It should be something we could look at. Look, Jack Grealish is 26 this year. I've actually met Jack Grealish a few times. He was on loan at Notts County at the start of his career. He absolutely loves Aston Villa. And like I said, he turns 26 in September. He's got one move in his career, really. He's going to go to one big club and spend 5-6 years there. And, if you was Jack Grealish's agent at this moment and Arsenal came in for you, I'd say, listen, just wait. Just wait. At the moment, you've got a manager, you're not sure of his future. You've got an owner, the fans are protesting, they want him out. They've got no European football. We only finished, 2 or 3 places above Aston Villa last season. And he's on over 120 grand a week. I mean, I would love Jack Grealish at Arsenal, but I don't see any way how it happens under this manager and this owner. He could go to Manchester United and get in their team. He could probably get in,
City.
Chelsea, City possibly. I just don't think he would come. I think what Arsenal have done wrong over the past few years, at least, they think that because they're Arsenal, everything will just fix itself. Oh, we're Arsenal and we're a giant of football. We'll get players, we'll be in Europe, we'll be all right. But what's happening, it's all unraveling. And then they don't know what to do, how to stop it, because the best teams, they build from a position of strength. I saw an interview that Lee did, actually, where he said, Man City have won the league, they want Harry Kane. He's the best striker in the Premier League. They're probably going to offer 100 and something million to get him. We're 8th in the league, falling away. We can't even see Man City. They're so far ahead of us. And I'm not being disrespectful. We're getting excited by Basuma from Brighton. We probably didn't even know who he was 2 years ago. And that's the reality of where we are as a football club. Like Edu's saying, if we sign Basuma and Buendia, that's not that much. That's a guy from Norwich that's just been in the Championship and a guy who's had probably his breakthrough season in the Premier League. I don't think that transforms Arsenal Football Club.
No, exactly.
Bruno Fernandes transformed Man United. They needed that goal-scoring midfielder. Hit 50-something million, you know what I mean? Portuguese international, proven player. Arsenal are getting players where we're going, well, he looks good in Brighton's team and he looks good at Norwich, but like you were saying, Edu, when we signed Sanchez, you knew he was going to make a difference because you know what he's about, and he's done it at the top level. Even Aubameyang to a certain extent, he's done it. Ozil, they're top players. You knew they were going to make an impact. Buendia, you can't guarantee that he's going to make a massive difference at Arsenal. He might, but we don't know that. So for me, the lack of ambition at the football club is disgraceful, and I think it starts with the manager, because I think in any rebuild, you start with getting the right manager. When Liverpool were fiddling around, Brendan Rodgers, it didn't quite work. They said, that's it now. No more Roy Hodgson's, no more this. Go and get the best manager you can get that is available. Jurgen Klopp was the best manager available. They got him, and then everything else fits into place because he buys players that fit into his system, which is why I'm saying right now, there's no better manager in world football available than Antonio Conte. That should be the biggest signing if Arsenal.
Yeah.
That could be your record transfer. You don't need to go. Sell Willian, get that 200 grand a week and give it to Antonio Conte. Don't waste it on players that aren't good enough. But the club aren't thinking like that, unfortunately. They'll go and get a Basuma or a Brendy. That'll be the big signing of the summer. We'll get a bit excited. They'll go and get a Ryan Bertrand. They'll go and get, and that's it. I don't trust this board. I don't trust Edu. I don't trust Arteta. And like you were saying, man, not often that I'm already not looking forward to the next season. I'm already thinking next season, well, where are we going to finish? Can we get Champions League? I don't think we can.
Yeah, no, you're 100% spot on, Curtis, and that is unfortunately been a fall of Arsenal Football Club over the years. It's just got worse. Edu, you've heard the guys. Just before I come to you, guys, please hit the like on the video. It's just one click there. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to Curtis Show TV, Edu Han, Lee Judges as well, and obviously us. If you're new, Edu, you've heard what the guys said, and it's difficult to argue with that.
It is, and I completely agree in so many extents. Look, for me, if there's not a better chance right now than signing a marquee signing and trying to get everybody back in the team, because the fans are losing love for the club. Of course, not everyone, because some people have followed Arsenal since they were even born, but look, we are in a situation right now that we're a laughing stock to everybody, and nobody should be proud about that. When Manchester United started drifting away, they went out and they broke the record with Pogba for 90 million, and they showed intent back. Look, now they're second, and based on what? Based on spending on good players. Like Maguire shouldn't have gone for 80 million, but they still went out there and got a good player. They're gonna pay now, let's say 80 million again for Sancho, because they want to compete. They want to be back. And even though their owners are probably just as bad as ours, they actually spend and they actually do something. Look, Arsenal have to do the only possible solution to what's happening right now is to spend. In my opinion, there isn't any. Look, even if you bring Conte, you're gonna have to spend. He's a checkbook manager. He's going to want that money. He's going to want that 200 million. So we are not in a situation to have excuses right now. We are between the dagger and the wall, as they say here. And we won't have another chance. We failed this summer. We are going to be a mid-table club. There will be no way back, because teams like West Ham with Europa League now, they're going to sign good players. Leicester are going to sign good players. I'm pretty sure Tottenham will as well with the new manager, because he's going to want money as well. So what are our guarantees? We have nothing. We have only faith. We can only pray that we do what's right, because they've shown nothing of that before. Look, when we were in a situation that we could have won a title, the board let us down. They only signed Czech when we needed a goal scorer. And then after that, everything has gone to shambles, as they say in the UK. There's been no improvement. So for me, there's no room for error. It's make or break.
Yeah, and you're 100% spot on. Obviously, Europa League tonight. Unfortunate that we're not in it. For those of you who are interested in the game, 7:30, Curtis Shaw TV is doing a watch along. It's going to be exciting, so make sure you tune in and watch him. Governor, what's the result going to be tonight?
I predicted it 3-1, 4-1 Man United. I think Villarreal poor. We never went for it. Yeah. Man United will go for it, and they'll have too much for them.
Yeah. Curtis?
Yeah, I agree. I go 3-1. I think it'll be comfortable victory. They got too much pace and power for Man United win.
2-1 Villarreal.
I would say 2-1 Villarreal as well. I want them to win. I don't want Man United.
I want them to win. Look, if I see Unai lifting that Europa League, I don't care as long as United don't win.
Yeah. No, but listen, I just want to end the show on a different note. I just want to personally thank Lee Judges, aka the Governor, who's put up for a whole season with me and Lev. We love you, and we always enjoy having you on. Hopefully,
No,
we'll be more
love it.
next season. Edu, you're now coming on board as well to the Arsenal Lounge. Eduardo is going to do weekly transfer shows in the Arsenal Lounge. So yeah, every week he's gonna tell us what's happening, what's not, and so on. So Curtis, it's the third or fourth show we're doing. Again, thank you for being here, man.
No worries, man.
Pleasure having you on, and hopefully we'll do more together next season. Guys, it's coming to an hour, so we'll wrap it up. If you guys got anything to say as well.
No, just thanks for the support and everybody watching through the season. Unfortunately, it's not been a great one, but hopefully we've got Eduardo on board now. We'll have some positive transfer news, and we'll go again next season.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't forget, subscribe to us. Subscribe to Curtis Shaw. 7:30. He will do a watch along. Make sure you tune in. And thank you for watching, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are. And we'll see you soon.